Joe Burrow, even though he went down with a really scary injury earlier today in training camp, we're going to cross our fingers and pray to the football gods that he's going to be healthy enough to play come the start of the regular season. And if you guys didn't see our report or our update on Joe Burrow's injury, go ahead and make sure that you guys go ahead and check that out. But Zach Taylor said that he's dealing with a calf sprain, so he should be able to play come week 1 of the regular season. And we're going to go based off the belief that Joe Burrow is going to be Cincinnati's starting quarterback for this season. Because I think that the Bengals, with Joe Burrow, have a great chance at being able to finally win it all this season. And I was listening to Nick Wright last night, actually, talk about how he feels if the Bengals don't get it done this season, they may have an even difficult chance at being able to get it done in the foreseeable future, due to the fact that they have a lot of their top guys who are going to be free agents next year, and they aren't going to be able to keep all of them due to all the money that they're going to be throwing out to pay Joe Burrow. So for the Cincinnati Bengals, I think this most definitely is their best chance to win the Super Bowl going into this season. You finally have improved the offensive line. You thought you had the offensive line situation figured out last year, but you go to the postseason and you're down a couple of starters, and then you weren't really getting good play out of some of the guys that you signed, such as La'el Collins at right tackle and Jonah Williams, who was a former first-round pick, who was one of the worst left tackles in the NFL. You bring in Orlando Brown, you pay him a lot of money. You think that he finally is going to be able to be that answer for you at left tackle, and if he is, then this is going to be one of the best offensive lines in the league this year, despite the fact that you have concerns about the production that you're going to be getting out of your right tackle position. There's a position battle going on for the right tackle spot between Jonah Williams, La'el Collins, whenever he gets back to full strength. And I think that Jonah Williams is probably going to end up winning that position battle. But either way, even if you don't get great play out of your right tackle position, all you're hoping for is serviceable play out of the right tackle spot. You look at receiver, we know the Bengals have the best receiving core in the NFL. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I like the addition of bringing in Irv Smith to replace Hayden Hurst. I think there's a lot of upside that comes with having Irv Smith. Irv Smith had some things that didn't go right during his time with the Minnesota Vikings, and I think that he was kind of underutilized when he was playing for the Vikings. Going to an organization like the Cincinnati Bengals that was able to squeeze a little bit of juice out of Hayden Hurst last season when he had the ball thrown his way, I think that Irv Smith could have a better season than what Hayden Hurst had last season for the Bengals, because I believe he's a better overall player than him. And you look at Joe Mixon, you got Chase Brown in the backfield now. This should be a really fantastic offense. And this probably could be the best offense that the Bengals have had since they've drafted Joe Burrow. And the reason why I make that statement is because you got to remember, the Bengals offensive line has been an issue ever since Joe Burrow got drafted to Cincy. His rookie season, he was out for the season due to a hit that Chase Young put on him. And it was because the offensive line was so bad. So this is the best offensive line that Joe Burrow is going to have going into this season that he's ever had so far throughout his Cincinnati career. Your offensive guards are really good. Your tackle situation should be straight on the left side. We don't know how the right tackle spot is going to play out, but hopefully you can get improvement from that position. Jonah Williams, maybe he's better suited for right tackle than he is left tackle, but we'll see how it plays out. And another reason why, if you're a Bengals fan, if Joe Burrow is healthy, why you got a lot of confidence in Cincinnati's chances of being able to win it all is due to the fact that you return both of your coordinators. DC Luanarumo comes back. He flirted with some head coaching opportunities. He was a finalist for the Arizona Cardinals head coaching job. And Brian Callahan, your offensive coordinator, also had some head coaching opportunities. And both of these guys, most likely, since they were finalists for a couple of these jobs, they most likely won't be around next year. They probably will get head coaching opportunities elsewhere. So this is probably going to be the last year that you're going to have both of the coordinators that you hired if you're Zach Taylor. So there's going to be a lot of camaraderie there. You're going to have players who are going to be in the same system once again, not really having to learn a new playbook or anything. So the fact that you have both of your coordinators coming back is a plus. You're going to have a really good offensive line, which is going to be another plus. And hopefully Joe Burrow is going to be healthy. Like I said, at the time this is being recorded, Joe Burrow just went down with a calf injury. They are saying that this is a calf strain. So hopefully nothing worse comes of this injury. We don't have any news that Joe Burrow has an Achilles injury. He's out for the season. So at the time this is being recorded, Joe Burrow, still in my mind, is going to be able to go this year. And with this defense, we know that Lou Anarumo always has fantastic defenses anytime they play some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes have given Lou Anarumo a lot of praise for how well prepared he always has his defenses going into the big games. And their defense this year, they have some concerns on the secondary. You lost two of your starters at safety last year in Jesse Bates, Von Bell to free agency. But I'm a really big believer in Dax Hill. When he was coming out of the 2022 NFL draft, this dude was one of the most athletic players coming out. This dude has insane athleticism. This dude's like a pinball ball. He goes doom, 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 doom. And plus, he brings a lot of versatility to the Bengals defense. He can play in the box. He can play in the slot. You can use him as another linebacker. He's a jack of all trades at the safety spot. And then you got Nick Scott, who you signed in free agency, who used to play for the LA Rams. He spent a couple of seasons with them. He had a pretty big role during their Super Bowl run. Even though he wasn't a starter, he still did get a good amount of snaps. So your safety position should be pretty set. And if Nick Scott doesn't work out, you still do have Jordan Battle, who can play either or, free safety or strong safety. And I'm looking at what they have at corner. Chidobe Awuzie is coming back fully healthy. One of the most underrated cornerbacks in the NFL. Cam Taylor-Britt, hopefully he has a breakout season. But you look at the defensive line, that's really what a lot of people overlook when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals. We know how good Joe Burrow and this offense is, and we know how good Chidobe Awuzie is. But do you know about DJ Reader? Do you know that DJ Reader has been one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL since he was playing for the Houston Texans? He's one of the biggest reasons for why the Bengals defense has been as good as what it's been under Lou Anarumo. And then you got a really underrated pass rushing duo. You got Trey Hendrickson, FAU alum, but nobody gives enough praise to Sam Hubbard. Sam Hubbard is really underrated. And when you think about some of the better pass rushing duos in the NFL, you gotta give Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard their respects. Now, a knock that people use against Cincinnati being able to make it out of the AFC is that, they're in the toughest division, arguably, in the NFL, the AFC North, the Ravens, the Steelers, even the Browns are going to be good this year. Yes, this division has gotten tougher, but have the Cincinnati Bengals gotten worse? Ask yourself that. This division has gotten tougher, but the Bengals haven't gotten worse. As a matter of fact, you can say that the Bengals got better with the addition of Orlando Brown. That was their biggest Achilles heel on the offensive line, that they didn't have a great left tackle. You get that figured out. Your right tackle position still is in the state of flux, but your offensive line is better going into this season than what it was your last 2 seasons or your last 3 seasons. However long the Bengals offensive line has been bad, you finally should have an answer to that. And with you having a better offensive line this year, you should be a better team this year. And although it would be small improvement, having a good left tackle means a lot. And the reason why having a good left tackle means a lot in today's NFL is because you're going against some of the best pass rushers in the league. So you're going to need your left tackle to be able to keep your quarterback upright, especially in the AFC North, home to some of the best defensive lines and best pass rushers in the NFL. You play against Myles Garrett and TJ Watt twice a year. So if you don't have good offensive line play, you're not going to go far. And what the Bengals have done over the last couple of years is something that most franchises won't be able to pull off in the foreseeable future. You're not going to go as far as what the Bengals have in the postseason with how bad their offensive line has been the last 2 years. So even though the Ravens, Steelers, and Browns are all really good teams, the Browns, Ravens could be Super Bowl contenders this year, I still think that the Bengals are still a good enough team where even if they don't win this division, they can still make a run in the playoffs. Let's not act like the Bengals haven't proven themselves. They have nothing to prove. They don't need to win this division to be able to make it to the playoffs. All right? They can make it into the playoffs, not winning this division, and all they got to do is make a deep playoff run. And they've already beaten Joe Burrow. They've already beaten Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead before. So there's no reason why they can't do it again this year. I don't think Kansas City is a better team this year than what they were last year. As a matter of fact, I think they could potentially be a little bit worse. And you look at the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Browns, all really talented teams, but the Bengals have Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in the game for a reason. And they got a great squad. So even though the other teams in this division have gotten better also, the Bengals haven't been stagnant. So I think that this is the Bengals' best opportunity to win the Super Bowl.